Good morning. So today I have Rohit with us, who is a result-oriented early investor, entrepreneur, and technology and business-focused executive with 20 plus years of experience in the high industry. He has experience defining solution product vision for a lot of his team members, which led his team to success and making sure that his team was able to produce results at the end of the day. Let's welcome Rohit on 10 minutes of hiding wisdom, where he will tell us about what his experience, where he's currently working, and what he has learned so far. Hi Rohit, how are you doing?
Very good. Thank you, Minal, for having me on this show today. In terms of where I've been, my journey, I'm a software engineer. I started by writing code for Sun Microsystems back in the day when I was in the security field and worked on some of their cool technologies with the Internet Commerce Group, which was a brand new area that Sun was foraying into at the time. And then I went on to do my MBA after while I was still working, and that helped me kind of start to transition into product management. And so I made the switch to product management because I felt that was a good fit for my skills and my interests, where I wanted to kind of work on the big picture and be able to contribute to the business side of things as well. And so I took on, the many different product management roles at Sun Microsystems, and was managing their J2EE application server, building an ecosystem around it, changing the business models there, which was very satisfying. And then other roles where we were kind of changing. And one of the things was it was always about working at Sun, we felt like we were changing the world. Right. And so being part of that journey where you feel like, what you're doing is meaningful, is going to actually, help drive efficiency, lower costs, make people's lives easier, was always a very satisfying feeling about it. And so when we first launched our public cloud, it was called network.com. It felt like we had changed the world from the ways in which you think of utility computing and cloud computing as it's called now. It's a very different experience for people who don't know the days when getting hardware meant you essentially had to place an order and wait months before you could get a machine and then be able to work with it. And then the concept of cloud computing, which we had launched at network.com, it was $1 per CPUR, and with a credit card you could sign up. So those were some really big groundbreaking changes. And along the way, I had other different kind of roles. So from product management, I drove marketing for both Sun and Oracle, as Oracle had acquired Sun Microsystems. And in that, it was a very different kind of skill set that comes into play, where you're essentially doing marketing, positioning, segmentation, and and targeted campaigns to drive the adoption of your technology. And that was a lot of fun because we were dealing with millions of professionals who wanted to get certified in Java, in Solaris, and later in many of the Oracle technologies, as well as I was running the worldwide Oracle marketing, which is a huge business for Oracle and continues to be very, very important to drive their goals. And now, I in the for some time I went to smaller companies. Like I worked at Platform Computing, where we were doing grid and high performance computing. And here it was like we were essentially help people put together supercomputers that were discovering new particles. And so it's been a very interesting journey where people have used the products that we built in many different ways. In fact, as Platform Computing, we used to have our logo on the Formula One cars because Red Bull Racing was using us for simulating the Formula One races, right? So it's very satisfying when you see your software, your products being used in ways which are really tangible, and you can see how they're being put together. I then started my own company after Platform Computing was acquired, and again here I saw the opportunity with social media as a risk. And while of course you want to kind of drive communities and bring people together, I had a sense that enterprises are going to care about. Um, Caring about the safety of the use of social media. So caffeine was formed with a goal to address that, and we essentially were able to find many different use cases, and the venture house that kind of was funding it kind of absorbed it into their larger portfolio. And I kind of transitioned to FICO, where I'm at right now, and head their analytics, product management. And here again, we're building tools that are helping make decisions. And decisions is a very key phrase here, because essentially, when you kind of think about, what eventually happens, people talk about big data, people talk about cloud computing, but a lot of that needs to go into making a decision. And here at FICO, our tools are designed to help you make those automated decisions that can grant you a loan or detect whether something is actually fraudulent or not. Is that credit card transaction actually allowed, or should it be denied? And that's a split second. I wouldn't even say split second. It's like in milliseconds that we are essentially trying to
Wow.
make those decisions. And the scale of the technology that needs to be put together when we are talking of millions of transactions and dealing with both the scalability, the response times. And then as we kind of move into the world of artificial intelligence, we are putting together tools that allow you to make these decisions, but have it in a balanced and fair way. You might have read about some of the issues with artificial intelligence, where the learning can influence the outcome. So if you learn from bad data, the outcome may not be fair. And so when we are trying to deal with these types of things, especially in the financial and regulated industries, it's very important that the learning algorithms can be taught in a way that it's fair, and that once you have that fairness checks, you're also able to prove to auditors that the results of your decisions are actually fair to the people. So that's kind of my journey in a
Wow.
nutshell.
It is absolutely amazing. And I think I'm just curious, like when you started off coding as a child, did you ever imagine that you would work on such products which involve Formula One Rossa, even starting your own company, working with some of the top companies? What would you say to yourself if you had gone back 15 to 20 years from now and be like, okay, this is what you are going to do? Would you believe yourself? Or as in like, I'm
Yeah.
shocked because you worked on so many amazing projects.
Yeah, no, it is. It is really eye-opening to kind of think back on the many years of the work that we've had an opportunity to be part of. I mean, Silicon Valley is an absolutely amazing place, right? Because you have the smartest people over here, and so when I kind of started out coding back in eighth grade, actually was. My grade was the first to actually get computers. Nowadays, like kids get computers much earlier, and every household has a computer. But in those days, we were kind of the first batch to graduate, and it's unimaginable, obviously, like you're saying, as to kind of think through, looking back as to all that has happened.
Wow. Well, Rohit, you are a pure example of how dreams work out. You started by being the first class to get computers. You carried on and pursued a wonderful career by working with some of the top companies in the world. And you can actually see the mark that you're leaving and making a difference in this world. And it's definitely an inspiration to so many people out there who are even scared to take the first step. But Rohit, as in, this was pretty much it. I loved hearing about your journey, about what you've gone through, the projects that you worked on. You are truly an inspiration, and it was an absolute pleasure having you as a guest on the show today.
Thank you, Manal.
Thank you so much.